Hello, friends. Happy Halloween. I was arguing with myself as to whether or not I'd keep the lights like this. Does it look spooky? Happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Friday. Great to see you folks. I will put the lights up normal, I promise. I just wanted to have a little bit of fun here, and I just accidentally set it up this way to get started, and I thought, that looks just fine. I hope you enjoyed that little introductory show there. That's a lot of stuff from years past, but sprinkled in there were some brand new things made by our buddy Eric, Blue Collar Pipe Smoker, who's been just going nuts with the AI generated Halloween stuff. So he's been having a big old time. But let's get the lights back on. Hey Google, basement lights, please. There we go. Hopefully that's a little bit better. How are you all? Did I win the argument? Or maybe somebody else is winning the argument. I'm just jumping in there. David G, good to see you, David G. Lots of folks gathered already, and I have been neglecting, so I'm going to have to scroll back and try to get a sense of who. So Gordy was the first guy in, too early. Good to see you, Gordy. David G, we mentioned. David Bookshop. Brian Nesman, I think I got that right. Brian Edmonds, good to see you, Brian. David Jenkins, Cypress Piper, Big Dave with the numbers, 5707. Yeah, the numbers are back. There's Gary Edminster, Poem 3150, hubba bubba to you, Poem, good to see you, buddy. Gary's got some vanilla custard and a Peterson house pipe with black coffee, fantastic. By the way, I've got Bela, my Halloween pipe out, and it is, of course, containing some Haunted Bookshop for spooky season. There's Algonquin Breyer, happy Halloween. Steve Stazak, good to see you, Steve. Sensei McGiggles, one of my favorite YouTube handles. Piper on the 45, Jimmy, David Jenkins. Sorry, David, you get hello twice. My memory's failing, but it's not shot yet. And let's see, Siglaman Tony from Rhode Island. Hello, Tony. The Urban Hermit. How's it going, Everett? Good to see you. There's Phil Rivera. Maybe it was a mystery indeed, Phil. Great to see you. Bona Piper, Carrie. Good to see you guys. The Smooth Piper. Happy Halloween there, Peter. Mr. Couch Incident. Broke into the candy. How you doing, Mr. Couch? Good to see you there, buddy. This he 66. Did I get that right? This he 66? Billy Piper. Hello, Donnie. And I think we're caught up. Good to see you, folks. Yes. So I am smoking Haunted Bookshop, which I probably let go out by now. And I hope you, like I said, enjoyed that intro. And a special thanks to Eric, Blue Collar Pipe Smoker, who did provide a lot of those images. And they were fun. I love the one where he's got, it's like Lugosi, Karloff, I forget who, and Hitchcock sitting around. And they're all smoking pipes, and Hitchcock's got a cigar. It is great. And it's scary with some of the things he's coming. And that was just a small portion of what he came up with. If you want to follow Eric on Instagram, he's Eric Blue Collar Pipe Smoker. Just search for that, you'll find him. And man, he was putting out a dozen of those things a day, and he got very creative. Peter's got Haunted Bookshop in the Friday 7 with the Frankenstein Monster Tamper. Way to go there, Peter. Way to go. Master Poe. How are you doing? Happy Samhain indeed. And there's Ahmed. Good to see you, Ahmed. So, Armchair Piper, hello. Armchair Piper's got his Boris pipe. Fantastic. Goes well with my Bela. Uh-oh. I've done something terrible. So I got the the official mug here. But the dummy forgot to get the beer. Short intermission. Enjoy some more of Eric's artwork and a little music, and I will be right back. That wasn't so bad, was it? Richie, no pipe for you, but you work tomorrow and Sunday at Blue Hill, so you'll get plenty caught up. I guess Blue Hill's a place where you can smoke your pipe, which is good for you. Good for you. So, Phil, wait till you see what I'm going to do for you. Everybody's been teasing Phil about drinking the pumpkin ale, you know, and he said, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to drink one when I go on the live stream." And I said, "No, I'm gonna take one for you, Phil. I'm gonna. Oh God, I'm gonna regret this." Jeffrey Feinberg, how you doing, Jeffrey? So I went to the beer distributor tonight, and unfortunately I was running late, and I did not have time. I was going to do one of the pick six things. The place I went didn't have them, and the closest place that did have them was, so I had to get 4. I got a 4-pack of these, and I'm looking at these, and I'm like, I don't want any of these. How am I going to pick? You know, because they're all pumpkin spice. This pumpkin spice, that. How am I going to? So I decided to go by alcohol content because I figured if I'm going to have to drink it, I might as well enjoy it. So this is what we've settled on. Kentucky Pumpkin Barrel Ale, 10%. Yes, indeed. Eric, how you doing, buddy? Was just talking about you. And there's Daniel Leslie. Good to see you, Daniel. So, since 1999. Enjoy cold. Okay, that's good to know. Handmade. Lexington Brewing and Distilling Company, Lexington, Kentucky. Grand Rapids, Michigan. I don't know how that works. Somewhere on here it said something about... where did I see this? Somewhere it said that it was aged in bourbon barrels, but I don't know. It doesn't. Oh, it must be on the box. It was a 4-pack. Anyway, this is what I'm going to be drinking. God help me. And I really hope this fills the mug because I got 2 of them. I think it's the Christmas mug that I have to put 2 beers in though, so you might be safe here. Of course you would. Well, when the foam is clovey, you know you're in for something. A sipping beer, says, yeah, I don't know what that means. Doug Owen, how you doing, Doug? Okay. I can live with this. It's weird, but I can live with this. Yes, I know why it says serve cold. You would not want that anything other than ice cold. It is. Okay, this is going to sound really weird, but it is a beer that tastes like a combination of whiskey and cloves. And those are the two most prominent flavors that I'm getting off the thing. Um, I'm glad I only have four and didn't have to buy six, but it is not nauseating. I could have done a lot worse, I think. Kill the bear. Oh, thank you, Gary. Better. My apologies. I put that on to make the effect earlier. I forgot. Oxyacetylene with alcohol, severe, mind-numbingly cold adult. Yes, serve mind-numbingly cold. That would work. Yes. Uh, what do you mean ordinary time, Eric? I thought you were starting to teach ChatGPT how to draw a turkey now. Father Chris, happy Halloween. Great to see you. Great to see you, my friend. Yeah, whiskey and cloves, Gordy. I don't know if interesting's the right word, but it would go well with Mixture 79, Big Dave. You're giving me an idea. Yeah, I know not nauseating is not a great sales pitch, Doug. I agree. Yornik, believe me, if I could get rid of the cloves, but I promised I would do this, and here I am doing it. Ah, yeah, that's well, Doug. What you got to keep in mind is that there have been nauseating pumpkin flavored beers, and just the thought of them sometimes is, and some of the choices, like who buys a caramel pumpkin ale? Like, there's nothing about that that sounds good to me. Who would buy that? Yeah, I guess, Phil. I guess, or maybe you can't. Maybe you can only smoke Sleepy Hollow tobacco. No longer contagious as an election slogan. Yeah. Everett, I'm doing it for my friends. It's not something I would choose to do on my own. And it is 10%, so keep that in mind. Oh, Richie, we can't say that. We might get we might get blocked globally. I don't know if you guys saw the update on Sunday, but hey, Bad Dad, good to see you, buddy. Um, if you were here last week when we tried to watch The Great Pumpkin, man, they took it down fast. We got 8 minutes into it, and it just shut the whole stream down. No warning, nothing. Just you're off the air. And so I started another live stream, and hopefully enough folks found me. I don't know if everybody found me, but I had no way of communicating because they shut it down. I couldn't open it. I couldn't get into the chat or anything. Um, so the next day, I got this notification from them that it had been blocked globally. And apparently, people could watch it up till the point where it got taken down. But once it was blocked globally, it was completely eliminated. Like, basically, nobody could watch it, including myself. So they really, really, really did not want me to broadcast It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And I understand that, and it's fair. It's fair. I mean, I was doing a bad thing. I admit that. Uh, so, but yeah, it was funny to me how quickly they reacted. And now they got me thinking, how did they figure it out that quickly, and how do I get around this? And I know I shouldn't be thinking that way, but I'm thinking, well, what if I just played it 5 minutes at a time? Would that work? Would I have to change the aspect ratio? What do I have to do to make it not trigger but I figure if I do this too many more times, they're probably going to slap me and give me a timeout or something. So, Gary, you've got a stronger constitution than me. I don't think I could get through one of those beers and have the flavor still matter. Time is an illusion, Yornik. Lunchtime doubly so. That's pretty cool, Richie. Has been, I could play it in reverse, but I'm afraid it would reveal satanic messages, so I don't want to do that. Yeah, maybe, Palm, maybe. But would I be able to do it in a frequency that would not completely destroy the watching experience? I guess is the question. Richie, I didn't know you had that talent. I look forward to listening to you in reverse. Yes, talking to Santa already, are you, Everett? Yeah, this is the gateway. This is the gateway to the holidays. It's one of the reasons I love Halloween so much. I'm not much of a guy for getting dressed up and throwing out candy, but it is the gateway to the holidays. Ah, Luxter, I love it. It's not long enough. We'd have to loop it a couple times. That's really funny. I'm sure I've had Czech beer at some point, Yornik, and the truth is I've had very few beers that were from other countries where I've said I don't like this. I've had Polish beers, German beers, English bitters, which I really enjoyed. And they're usually different enough that I say this is good, and I wish I could get more of it. The one exception was I had a Chinese beer once, and it. To be fair, it was the cheapest beer that the beer distributor had. I was a starving student, and I wanted beer. That was bad. That was really, really bad. But I think it was supposed to be. Oh, excuse me while I once again throw my phone on the floor. I go through glass screen protectors uh, like something that you go through quickly. Yeah, I've seen some weird copyright claims, Phil. I really think it's funny the people that just like have a radio on in their shop and they're doing something and they don't even realize the radio's on when they're making the video, and you get hit with a copyright claim. Hey, Jibby, I can't see the rest of your name. Jibby Jabba TV. Nice to meet you, buddy. Thank you for watching, and welcome to the live stream. Sindao? Chindao? Is that what it is? This was called Lushan. I remember that quite clearly. It was Lushan beer. I've had Red Stripe since, and I can't say it was the worst beer I've ever had. But then again, I've had Lushan, so maybe that sets the bar differently. I hope so, Everett. I hate to admit that. You know, as an American, I guess I should be rooting for the Dodgers, but I can't root for the Dodgers. Just can't do it. It's very hard to gag one of those, David. And you get a copyright claim every video? My goodness. So then you probably see the thing, and it's bizarre to me. I talked about this on Sunday, and I shouldn't complain because I don't really care, but there's a principle here. So I've been flat out told, well, first off, I turned off the monetization on my channel a couple years ago now, I think. And the reason I did that was I just don't like watching ads. And I thought, well, if I don't like watching ads, why am I going to make you watch ads, right? For like what amounts to being a check for $100 maybe once every year and a half. I'm not kidding. That's how frequent it was. So I turned it off because it was pointless. And a short while after that, a couple months later, I got a nasty gram from YouTube saying you are no longer allowed to monetize your channel. All monetization has been shut off. You violated our terms of service, and I wanted to find out what it was about, and I dug into it, and eventually got, without them saying it, they said if you say anything about tobacco, you can't monetize. I said, okay, you know, that's fine, and their business, they're allowed to do that, and I'm taking advantage of their platform, and that's fine. But they sent me, when I got the copyright violation, they said, or this was a different one. This wasn't for, what was this for? I put something in a video. Oh, it was for the Fractured Fairy Tales that we did as a test. The violation there said someone else has claimed the rights to this content, and therefore any monetization will go to them. So I'm not allowed to monetize my own videos, but somebody else is allowed to monetize my videos. And YouTube, of course, can run ads on my videos, even though I can't run ads on my videos. I find that fascinating. Again, I'm using their platform for free. I shouldn't complain about it, but it annoys me. Spam beer? No. It's tough having two foreign countries in the World Series. No, you know, to be honest, I wish the Blue Jays the best. The whole money thing with the Dodgers just got to me. But you know, I can't be too high and mighty about it, because if you look at the salary, and I don't know what the numbers are, but in terms of salary, it's the Dodgers, the Yankees, and then the Phillies. So the Phillies are the top three. I can't be too high on my horse until I find out just where they fall numerically. Peter, if Captain Black Grape became a beer and they put some clove in it, it would probably be worse than this. So it's hard. It's sorry. I started to talk and I started to read Luke's response here. It's not nauseating, and it's better than Captain Black Grape plus cloves in liquid form. You sound just like Foghorn Leghorn, Luke. There's a lot of that going around these days. I don't know, poem. Why did the ghost wake up with a hangover? Because he went to bed 2 sheets to the wind. Probably not. Rush Fan 3. How you doing, Patrick? Now, are you actually, is the 3 actually part of your name, or did they tack that on? Oh, which podcasters are they, Richie? Please do tell. It's a good point, Doug. I think that there's something about environment that's part of it. Okay, so you're not getting one of the random numbers tonight, Patrick. Random numbers are weird. Oh, I get it, Yornik. It's a touchy-feely kind of thing, huh? Ha ha ha. Captain Black Sardine, Gareth. You one-upped Ed with his Captain Black tuna. Richie, if you don't want to list the podcast here, would you please email it to me? Because I really would like to know about that. I'm still trying to figure out why the ghost woke up with a hangover. But Jeffrey's asking, how can you tell a vampire has a cold? They start coughing. Oh, Jeffrey. By the way, we're going to do some trivia. I've got some trivia lined up, and we're going to do it a little bit different. I think you're either going to enjoy it or hate it. We'll find out. Oh, thank you, Richie. Okay, I will look into that. I will definitely look into that. I'm just curious. Oh, Daniel. Where were you when Stupid Joke Night happened, which we didn't do this year? What did one casket say to the other casket? Is that you coughing? Actually, there's that joke is funny. There's a story around that joke that involves Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra, which is quite hilarious. I have not, Doug. I have not. I've been on a journey with movies lately. I haven't gotten to Night of the Demon, but it is on my list. Uh, oh, Grey Woody too? Oh, okay, Poem. Sorry I missed it. The chat is busy tonight. So the reason the ghost woke up with a hangover is he had too much booze the night before. Oh my goodness. Yes, Nathan and Eugene are. I haven't listened to them much just because I don't get time to listen to a lot of podcasts, but they're a hoot. Also, I don't know what's going on with it anymore, but the one that Mike, I can't remember his last name, and Jay Furman were doing for a while, that got pretty raunchy at times. Funny, but not family safe, if you know what I mean. And I think Mike actually handed it over to Jay. I can't remember. Good morning, Ghost Rider. Good to see you, buddy. So should we try some trivia? I don't care if you burn. Yes, I do remember that, Phil. Yes, Fingoli's showing Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. I'm gonna skip that one. I hate to say it, but I've seen that so many times. It's not a favorite of mine. I know why people love it, and I get it. But Mike was on your live last week. I would have loved to have seen that, Phil. I didn't know he was the kind of guy that would show up on such things. Does he do that often? Because he interviewed me once and I really enjoyed talking to him, but he seemed kind of hard to pin down. Oh, Daniel, you've outdone yourself. Why can't two ghosts play hide and seek? Because they can't find each other. Ah. Oh, Everett's going to do a live next week. Cool, Everett. Urban Hermit, yes. Go subscribe to the Urban Hermit right now without the 9879, I think. And be ready for his live next week. I'll look forward to that. Just don't do it at 8 o'clock on Friday, because then everybody here will be mad at me for not doing this. Because I'll be over at Everett's. Shamed him into it. Did you see, Phil, did you see that Peter got mentioned in Eldridge's last video? Anyway, while that cooks, I'm almost done with this bowl. I'm going to do two of these tonight because I don't want to have to drink them. Oh, Monday, that'd be cool. I was just kidding. You do it whenever you want, buddy. Easy trivia question, says Doug Owen. Here we go. Here we go. Who played the monster in Thing from Another World? Gary Ebminster comes in with Matt Dillon, I think. My vision's a little blurry. It might be Matt Dion, but we'll give him Matt Dillon. But that wasn't his name, Gary. Hey, there's some scary cartoons, Yornik. I got you, Phil. Yeah. I got a laugh out of it because I think the word charming was used. Uh, oh, fantastic poem. Good luck on the exam. That is great news. James Arness. I believe that is correct, but I'll let Doug confirm. Gary came back with the actor's name. Gary is right, Doug says. Yes. Oh, Everett, I'm sorry I didn't think to ask. I'm so glad he's doing well. Everett's dad was up and down for a bit there, but I'm so glad. He seems like such a great guy. By the way, on that kind of a note, our buddy Ronnie Ewing, who is often here on the live stream, I don't think he's here tonight. He contacted me earlier today on Instagram, and Ronnie, his mom has been doing poorly for quite a while now, and apparently she's in her last. The end is near for for her, and she's about to go home to be with God. And Ronnie's with her, and Ronnie is a man of faith, and they're together. And I just want to ask you all to keep Ronnie in your thoughts, and if you're the praying type, in your prayer. He's a really good guy. I've gotten to know Ronnie well over the past couple of years, mostly through Instagram. But he's just a nice guy who just always sends me something bright and cheerful, and picks up my spirits. So I just hope you can all take a moment to think of him and send up some prayer for him. You meet the most interesting people, don't you, Phil? That is amazing. Doug asks, what is Boris Karloff's job before he became an actor? So he had several jobs, Doug. I mean, he worked on farms. He did some construction work. Um, that's a hard one to pin down. Which actor played Hunter in the police show in the '80s? Asked Daniel Leslie. Uh, I don't know if that really fits the theme, Daniel, but thank you guys for all the prayers. It's much. I'm sure that Ronnie will appreciate it. Fred Dreyer, former San Diego Chargers safety. Richie B gets it. Well, that happens with filmmakers today, doesn't it, Phil? Truck driver? Ditch digger, says Bona Piper. He did a lot of manual labor. I mean, technically, before he became a film actor, he was a stage actor. If you want to go that route, but no, Karloff had an interesting life, and he did a lot of physical harm to himself in those days, which is why he had so many back problems and things like that, and why then he played the monster and had to wear like 20-pound boots and stuff. But yeah, those guys did not have the lives that movie celebrities, Hollywood celebrities have today. You know, we immediately think of celebrities as, oh, he must have lived in a mansion and no, he had it rough. Lugosi had it rough. I learned another thing about not Lugosi, Karloff. Does and I love this is a fact I did not, and I love Boris Karloff. He's probably my all-time favorite actor. And I learned something just last week about him that I did not know, and I doubt, without Googling, does anybody know what Boris Karloff named his dog? I saw 3 trick-or-treaters, Carrie. We just don't have them around here. It was not Puppy, Richie. It was far from Puppy. I'll give you a hint. Apparently it was a female dog. No, it wasn't red. Truck or treats have murdered Halloween. I agree, Carrie, and it's a shame. Get off the couch. I'm going to name my next dog Get Off the Couch, David. That is fun. Ooh, that's a good one, Doug. In The Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr., who played the blonde girlfriend, she was also in a couple of Rathbone Holmes movies, and I believe she did not get along very well with Lon Chaney, and her first name began with an E. Last name began with an A. It did rhyme with which. At least the second syllable rhymed with which, Cypress Piper. Boris Karloff named his dog Silly Bitch, which I just think is so funny. And it's because it was a female dog, and it was silly. And in Karloff's mind, that was a perfectly normal thing to call the dog. Yeah, doing your own stunts is not a good deal, Gary, for sure. Hey, little Piper Todd, good to see you. Got it half right. There you go. Barbara Stanwyck. All right, Everett, great to see you, buddy. Look forward to seeing you on Monday, I hope. Let us know. All right, you want to do some real trivia? Let me see if I can do this. I got something fancy planned. You know how well that usually works. That did nothing. I was supposed to do something instead of nothing. There we go. That seems to have done something. Let me know if you can see that. Hopefully you see the Bride of Frankenstein right now. You're not going to see it that large because I want to take the chat down with me if I can. The sound goes off? No, you should still have sound. Evelyn anchors, indeed. Anchors away. Let me know. It is very fancy, isn't it, Chris? Okay, so what we got here is we got a couple of web pages with some horror movie trivia. We don't have to read the the Universal classics were great. We all know that. Riff Raff's wife, yes. So let's play. Let's see what this does. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to sort of like agree on an answer, and then we'll put it in, and at the end we'll find out whether or not we're right. So, what year was The Invisible Man released? If I had to guess, this is really a guess on my part. I'd go with 37, but you can't read that. Oh, that's right. You're on a phone, so Well, that's going to be a problem. Don't be on a phone. Nobody knows he was invisible. We got a couple votes for 37. Probably because I said it first. Oh, heck, let's go with 37. And I will read out the options for the next one. Okay. Oh, look at that. What are the creatures from the Black Lagoon sequels called? So we got Return of the Creature and the Creature Walks Among Us. Return of the Creature and the Creature Lives Among Us. Revenge of the Creature and the Creature Lives Among Us. Or Revenge of the Creature and the Creature Walks Among Us. So really the two choices come down to, is it Return, Walk, Return, Live, or Revenge, Walk, or Revenge, Live? I think it's Actually think it's the first choice. Return of the Creature and the Creature Walks Among Us. One Nation Invisible? Yes, Richie. In my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. We got Return and Live, Revenge, Live, Revenge. First one, Revenge Walk, drink pumpkin beer. Return Walks. Creature 2 Electric Boogaloo. We're not getting any yeah, Liberty is good for everything. We're not getting any consensus on this one. Sweet land of British tea. That's a good one, Phil. You know, I think since we're not getting consensus, I'm going to go with my choice, which is Return of the Creature and the Creature Walks Among Us. All right. How many actors played Frankenstein's monster in the Universal films? 2, 4, 6, or 9? Big Dave, I didn't get a chance to look into the Gilligan's Island Halloween. I don't think there were any specific Halloween episodes, but there were some spooky episodes. Was it dachshunds, Doug? It was definitely dogs. So we got 6, 3, 4, 4, 6, and 4. 3 isn't an option. I don't think it's 4. Everybody's saying 4. I thought it was 2, but okay, we'll go with 4. I know there was at least 2. Well, obviously, because 1's not an option. All right, we'll go with 4 since everybody likes 4. It was a documentary. Who directed Creature from the Black Lagoon? Ooh. Robert Florey, Jack Arnold, Edgar G. Ulmer, or James Whale? I know it's not James. Well, I shouldn't say what I know, but it couldn't be James Whale. But I do not know the answer to this one. Anybody want to take a wild guess? Or perhaps no. Don't Google. No Googling. Benedict Arnold, huh? Creature directed it. We got a couple of votes for Jack Arnold. One Ulmer guess. Hello, the Pipe Lounge. Good to see you. Yeah, I honestly don't know. Okay, we got several guesses for Jack Arnold. Let's go with Jack Arnold. If I was guessing just based on nothing, I would say Ulmer, but I have no reason to say that. It just seems like a name I might have seen before. But we'll go with Jack Arnold. Okay, next question. Who was the only actor, I know this one, who played Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, and the Mummy? Was it Karloff, Chaney Jr., Glenn Strange, or Claude Rains? The only one to play Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, and the Mummy. Kevin Bacon's not on the list, but they could all be connected within 3 to him. We got several votes for Glenn Strange. We got 1 vote for Lon Chaney. It was Tom Cruise. Yornik, I like playing this with you. Couple more for Lon. 1 for Karloff. Claude Rains was not Sheriff Lobo. Lon Chaney seems to be running away with it, and I think it was Lon Chaney. In fact, I'm like 99.9% certain it was Lon Chaney. Kevin Turkey, non-fat bacon, Phil. Sounds good. What was the name of Frankenstein's hunchback assistant in Frankenstein? Was it Igor, Fritz, Boris, or Vlad? We got one for Igor, one for Marty Feldman, one for Igor. Vlad, Igor. Lots of Igors. Igor's running away with it. I do believe it was Igor. Fritz was in Dracula, I think. Okay, so we're going with Igor. We better nail this, guys. We better do really well here. Which two actors played Dracula more than once? Ah. Okay, so we got Van Sloan and Carradine, Van Sloan and Karloff, Lugosi and Carradine, and Lugosi and Karloff. JD, how's it going, buddy? This one is interesting, and I can never remember if Lugosi played. I think Lugosi played Dracula twice, I think. But I can never remember. And if that's the case, it has to be either 3 or 4. But I don't think Karloff played Dracula twice. But I can't imagine Carradine played Dracula twice. Bela Lugosi and his clone called Bela Lugosi. There you go. Ghost Rider says Sloan and Carradine. Huh. Looks like Lugosi Karloff are winning at this point. Pipe Lounge. This is a Jesse Jones pipe that I only smoke at Halloween. It's my Halloween pipe. Carradine was Grasshopper's father. Let's go with Lugosi and Karloff, and the second choice was Lugosi and Carradine. So we'll see. I hope they give us the answers. Don't just say you got 6 out of 12 or whatever. What was the sequel to The Wolfman? Revenge of the Wolfman, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, The Mummy meets the Wolfman, or The Return of the Wolfman? What was the movie where John Carradine played a butler, asked Doug. I don't know. It'll come, Pipe Lounge. It'll come. Wolfman takes a job in the radio. Ah! Got a lot of returns, the slightly older Wolfman. Wolfman has puppies? Yeah. One for Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Looks like most of the votes were for Return. I'm thinking Return too. Let's go ahead and do Return. Oh, you don't have far to go then, Pipe Lounge. Guys, go check out the Pipe Lounge, and if you like what he's got, give him a subscription, see if we can get him over the hump there. Which of the 3 Universal monster movies did James Whale direct? There's a good question. And you're getting a big clue here, just so you know. Just so you know. So, did he direct The Mummy, Frankenstein, and Creature from the Black Lagoon? Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, and Bride of Frankenstein? Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, and The Mummy? The Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. James Whale directed... which of those 3? Yeah, I know, Big Dave. I'm not a big fan of the Abbott and Costello crossovers. Second one, going with 2. I'm leaning towards 2 as well, because I think Whale directed Bride of Frankenstein. I think. Let's go with 2. Question 10 of 15. Oh, we're getting there. How many Mummy movies did Universal make? Oh, boy. Oh. How many Mummy movies did Universal make? Gosh. I know it was 2, and I'm thinking maybe it was 3. It definitely wasn't 6. I don't think it was 4. So it's between 2 or 3 for me. Phil says 6. Peter says 2. Bad Dad's guessing 4. I'm voting for 3. Peter's now bumped it up to 3. Yes, Poem, you are a mummy. Congratulations. Bad Dad meant 3. Luxter says 2. Ghost Rider says 3. Jeffrey says 7. Rush fan. We're going to go. That's enough 3s. We've reached critical mass. Reminds me of Jeffrey reminded me of Corvette Jim. Every time we did trivia, he would say the answer is 7. Oh, this is an easy one. Who played the Invisible Man in the first movie? Lon Chaney Jr., Edward Van Sloan, Boris Karloff, or Claude Rains? I have finished my first pipe. So while you decide who played the Invisible Man, and if you don't know this, I'm going to disown y'all. By the way, I think The Invisible Man is a very underrated movie. I didn't like the sequel very much, but the original Invisible Man I thought was an excellent film. I mean, it was no Bride of Frankenstein, but it was a good movie. Yeah, this was not Sheriff Lobo, Richie. I'm going to count Richie's response as a vote for Claude Rains, and Smooth Piper says Claude Rains. It was not Van Damme, Luxter. I'm fairly certain it was not Van Damme. While you guys sort that out, I'm going to get out the Matches Memorial Friday 7 Ellie and fill it with Haunted Bookshop from the Deluxe Luxury Pouch. Yeah, it was Claude Rains. It definitely was Claude Rains. He was very transparent, yes. There's a great story about Claude Rains after that movie came out. Um, he went out, I think he was with his daughter, to go to the movies, and they walked up to the ticket counter, and the daughter asked for the tickets, if I'm remembering the story right, and I think they might have they were like about to close the box office or something. It was something like that, and she was basically telling the daughter, "Go away, you can't get in right now." And Claude Rains leaned over and said, "You know, is there no way that you can give us a ticket or something like that?" And all of a sudden, the woman behind the counter said, "Oh my God, you're Claude Rains," and she recognized his voice, but she didn't recognize him. Which I thought was kind of funny, given that he was the Invisible Man. And he thought it was funny too. Okay, on to the next question. And if you're good, I'll tell you the story about the guy whose name I can't remember right now. Did I click? It doesn't seem to be spinning. There we go. Taciturn Richard. Another hilarious Invisible Man joke. How many times did Vincent Price play the Invisible Man? Ah, ah. Once, 5 times, 3 times, or twice? Phil, you have to be good enough that I remember the name of the guy that I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think it was once. I'm pretty certain it was once, and it was only briefly at the end of the movie, if I'm remembering correctly. It was an Abbott and Costello film. Let's go with once. Who played Van Helsing in Dracula? Otto Kruger, Edward Van Sloan, Boris Karloff, or Bela Lugosi? If anybody picks number 4, you're banned. The Anomalous Man. There you go, Phil. I decided this would be a Halloween tamper. It's technically a clay pipe tamper, and I love it. And I think we got a couple guesses for Edward Sloan. We got a couple guesses for Otto Kruger. Otto Kruger actually was Freddy's. No, Freddy's dad was 1,000 Maniacs, wasn't there? 10,000 Maniacs or something. Yes, it was Eddie Van Halen. Brian Woodward's testing my metal with choosing number 4. Am I allowed to override the majority? Because I know the answer. I don't think I caused the spinning circle, guys. I think that's on your end, but I don't know. The answer is Edward Van Sloan. All right, next to last one. Name the actor who played Frankenstein's monster. Name the actors who played Frankenstein's monster. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Okay, Glenn Strange, Otto Kruger, Lon Chaney Jr., and Bela Lugosi. Lon Chaney Jr., Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, and Claude Rains. Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney Jr., Bela Lugosi, and Glenn Strange. Claude Rains, Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, and Glenn Strange. Okay, this is so this is going to be a tough one for people to type out. I am fairly certain that Claude Rains never played Frankenstein's monster. So that would take off the second and fourth choice. And I honestly do not think Otto Kruger. Yeah, I think number 3 is right. I see Doug is saying number 3. Bad Dad's number 3. Yeah. Let's go with number 3. I'm fairly certain that is correct. And the last one. No, Claude Akins never played. It'd be funny if it turns out Claude Akins got his start playing Frankenstein's monster on Broadway. Which 2 actors played the Gill Man? I swore I read that as Gilligan. The Gill Man in the original Creature from the Black Lagoon. So there are your choices. Ben Chapman and Rico Browning. Jack Pierce and Rico Browning. Jack Pierce and Claude Rains. Oh, these are funny. Or Ben Chapman and Bela Lugosi. Okay, so I'll give you some help. For those that you don't know, Jack Pierce was a makeup guy. He never played anything. So that takes 2 of them out of the mix. And they spelled Chapman wrong in number 4, which is kind of funny. So the way I answer this question is, it was not Vince Gill, no. Rico Browning definitely was one of them. And I know that Jack Pierce wasn't one of them, so that only leaves number 1 as the only viable option, in my opinion. But we'll see who else agrees with that. Yeah, I think number 1's the only one that could possibly be right. But Lugosi as the Gill, that's a funny thought, actually. That's a really funny thought. Well, that's enough ones. Let's see how we did, because this should be the last one. 8 out of 15? We suck. All right, let's see. All right, we knew that was a guess, so it was 1933 was the year The Invisible Man was released. That's earlier than I thought, though. Black Lagoon sequels. Oh, we got that wrong. So it's Revenge of the Creature, not Return of the Creature. Okay. I think I might have overridden some folks there, but Lugosi with Gilligan, well, that would be funny, too. All right, how many actors played Frankenstein? We got that one right with 4. And I think I was arguing for 2, so you guys beat me with that one. Who directed Creature from the Black Lagoon? We got that one right. Okay, cool. I was thinking Ulmer, so you guys beat me with that one too. Who's the only actor that played all 3 was Lon Chaney. The name of the... It was Fritz. How could we get that wrong? Of course it was Fritz. It was Fritz? I'm going to have to rewatch it now and find out. 2 actors played Dracula more than once. It was John Carradine. Interesting. Okay. I think we had narrowed it down to those 2, but interesting. What was the sequel to The Wolfman? It was actually Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Oh, boy, we really do suck. Yeah, I know some guys got the right answer. Yeah. That's true. We passed in college. It's true, Phil. James Whale directed... Ah, we got that one right. Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, and Bride. Okay, fantastic. How many mummy movies? The answer was six. My goodness, six. I never would have guessed six. Wow. I was saying two or three. I never would have guessed six. Yeah, I think Young Frankenstein made us get that one wrong, Doug. Okay, we knew we got Claude Rains right there. How many times did Vincent Price played the Invisible Man? Twice. We're gonna have to brush up on our Invisible Man trivia. Van Helsing was played by Van Sloan. We got the three actors that played Frankenstein's monster right. And we got the two actors that played the Gill Man right. All right, well, the ones we struggled on are the ones we got wrong. So we're not good guessers, but hey, when we knew, we knew. When we knew, we knew. Did that not go back to where it's supposed to go? No, maybe it's just taking time. That's a possibility. I might be lagging behind a bit. Oh, I got to bring the chat back with me or else I won't be able to see what you're saying to me. There we go. You ruined it for me, Richie. I don't know about that. Pumpkin spice. Speaking of pumpkin spice magic, we got what? We got 17 minutes to go, and I think I need to open another bottle of pumpkin spice. Does anyone disagree with me? Doug, I was thinking of The Invisible Man Meets Abbott and Costello. There must be another one, obviously, but you know more about earthworm migration? The Smooth Piper made me do it. Oh, and if I drink it now, when I can barely taste anything, I won't have to drink it later. This is quite dangerous. But it's just me and the dogs, and I don't have to go anywhere tonight, so what the hell? Oh, I meant what the heck, sorry. It's really, once you get past the clove, Phil's not going to be my friend anymore. Once you get past the clove, it's actually a pretty malty sort of flavor. It's I hate to say it's not bad because I've had one bottle of 10%, which is probably strongly influencing my opinion of the second bottle, but it's not bad. That's right, Phil, because they just replace themselves. You can never drink them all. Oh, Christian, some of those movies are so good. There's a whole bunch of Santo horror films. He's a Mexican wrestler, and yeah, he does. There's a Santo and Dracula movie. There's mummies. They're great. The Stooges might have met a ghost. I don't know if they met the Invisible Man. Anybody paying attention to there's a baseball game tonight, isn't there? Sorry, Gary saying another strike made me think of it. I'm opening up the MLB app. Yes, there is a baseball game. It's 3-1. Log in? I mean log in. I don't have to log in. Authentication error? What did you... Are you serious? I have, this is annoying. I have an account with MLB, the MLB app. 3-1 Dodgers in the middle of the fourth. Okay. And as I finally get to that, Lukester gives me the thank you, Lukester. Oh yes, he did have a car. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, El Santo. That was good stuff. Oh, this wasn't Google, Phil. This was the actual MLB app that I have an account for, and I have to log in once a year. And this is not once a year. This is still in season. I usually have to like off season, I don't pay any attention to it, and then when the season starts up again, that's when I have to log in. Hey, you want to give our best to Kate? Big country Cole just getting back from trick or treat. How'd you make out, Cole? Did you get any rocks? Frankenstein's on Turner Classic Movies. Let us know what the name of his assistant is, Cole. Long story. Ever tell you my theory that all mugs are made for left-handed people? Because when I'm drinking this, that's not very interesting. Well, maybe it's interesting, but that's more interesting. I didn't buy this so I could look at it. I bought this so that when people see me drinking out of it, they say, hey, that guy's got an interesting mug. He's someone I would like to talk to. But I can tell that he probably doesn't want to be bothered, so I'll leave him alone and just admire him from a distance. That's what I thought when I bought this mug. But it's very uncomfortable to drink left-handed. Phil, don't go to the trouble. I really don't need that. I'll tell you what, Phil, if you do that, I'll send you the other 2 bottles of this. But I got 2 bottles left. Well, that's because I have charm, Phil. I don't know if you're going to find the Eldridge thing as funny as I did. Terry Davy, how you doing, buddy? Fair enough. It's a draw, Phil. Oh, they're climbing up the windmill. You're well into it then. Pay attention to the creases on the backdrop. It's funny. I saw that movie 1,000 times, and a couple years ago they did a thing for What was it? Was it the 100th? No, it couldn't have been the 100th. I don't know. For some reason, they showed uh, the original Frankenstein and the original Dracula in the movie theaters right before Halloween. And me and a friend of mine that are big horror film fan, he's a big horror film fan. We went to see it, and that scene comes up, and you can so clearly on the big screen see the wrinkles in the backdrop behind the windmill. And we're looking at one another. We're looking at that. We're like, how come I never saw that before? Because we had never seen it on a big screen before. But once you see it, David Jenkins, it's getting cold here too. Cold, harsh charm. There you go. So there's another thing. If you see the original Dracula, I always forget if it's 31 or 32. I think it's 31. Um, there are a couple scenes actually where there's this lamp by the bedside of Mina. So there's several scenes where Mina's in bed because she's suffering from the bite of the vampire, and Dracula's trying to get her to join him. And there's a scene where the lamp on her bedside has this what appears to be a piece of cardboard stuck to it. And what it apparently was they were trying to get the lighting right for a different shot, and they were putting some cardboard up to sort of bounce the light. And then they forgot that it was there. And it's one of those things where I probably have just ruined this movie for you if you watch it anytime in the next couple of weeks, because you will see it. And once you see it, you will always see it. But the fact is, before you knew that it was there, you never noticed it. It's so obvious, though. Pelosi is the mummy, David. Yeah, Phil, I know some folks like that just don't enjoy the horror movies, but you know that's okay. That was really cool, wasn't it, Carrie? That young Frankenstein actually got the guy that made all the props for the original Frankenstein had yes, it was the 31 Dracula, Peter. Yes, that's the one that has the cardboard on the lamp. Um, so the 31 Frankenstein, the guy that made the props actually just had them in his garage. And when they were making Young Frankenstein, they got in touch with him and he said, yeah, sure, you can use them. So those props are actually the same ones. It's pretty cool. Well, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is a fine one. Phil, can you watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space? That's the real question, because that is a ridiculous movie that I cannot watch because I just cannot get through the clowns. So I got to tell you what I have been watching, and you're going to lose all respect for me. But as I move into my second 10% beer, I think I can share this with you. So I decided a week or two ago that I was going to, during Halloween when my wife's away, so she's in Pittsburgh right now, handing out candy to trick-or-treaters because they still have them in Pittsburgh. Uh, I decided while she's away, I'm going to watch all the Alien movies, the entire Alien franchise. Not the crossovers, just the Alien movies. And last night I watched Prometheus. So I started with Alien, then watched Aliens, Alien 3, uh, whatever came after Alien 3. Was that Prometheus? And then Prometheus. Anyway, I'm up to Prometheus. And I'm watching them in order. And I remembered, it's really interesting. I remember like shot for shot the first one, because I haven't watched them since they came out. And I actually have never seen anything after the second one, because I just didn't. Uh, so, in honor of ICE agents. Richie, you're bad. So I watched Alien first, and I like shot for shot remember it, but I was convinced that Alien ended with Ripley in the loader knocking the thing out of the air. Of course, it didn't. Sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone, but the film was made in the 1970s, for goodness sakes. So then I watched Aliens, the second movie, and that one ends with the loader scene. But I did not remember any of the rest of the movie. Now, maybe my memory's just going, but I really don't think I've seen most of that movie before. But I really believe that the end of that movie should have been at the end of the first one. It's really weird. It's just a strange. It's me. It's my goofy head not working properly. So then I watched Aliens 3. Now, my understanding is that Aliens 3 is like universally despised. And even the director of Aliens 3 doesn't like the movie. Um, I immediately disliked the title because it's wrong. Okay, the first movie was named Alien. So this should be Aliens 2, not Aliens 3. But I'll give them a pass on that because it's Hollywood and they don't know how to count. So watch the movie, and for those of you that do not know, um, it takes place on a prison in a prison colony. It's very different from the first two. The first two are very similar movies in that on a spaceship, alien gets on, oh no, gonna kill everybody, one person's left, they figure out how to kill the alien, and all is good. For the second one, they mixed it up a little bit. They set it on a prison colony. And the prison colony had no weapons. And they had to figure out how to defeat the alien. And, this is the one that nobody likes. And I actually thought it was out of the three that I had watched at that time, I thought it was the best one. I liked that they had changed the plot a little bit. I liked that they had more of a challenge. They just didn't have high-tech weapons to kill it with. And I really liked the ending. And I won't talk about the ending, but I liked it because it brought closure to the three films. And it was prefigured earlier on. And for those of you that have seen it, there was a scene where two bodies were thrown into the furnace to be cremated. And that prefigured the end of the movie. I liked that. I thought that number 3 was actually a really good movie. So, yeah, yell at me. Now I've seen Resurrection. Resurrection was a little goofy. I didn't think it was terrible, but it was a little goofy. And last night I watched Prometheus, which was clearly a reboot and didn't even really have an alien in it until the last minute or so. Not a terrible movie, but if that was the first movie, I probably wouldn't be looking forward to a sequel. But number 3, I liked. I really thought that was a good movie. So, there you go. How tall is Sigourney Weaver? Asked Phil Rivera. And the best answer I've seen so far is from Paragon Piper saying she's tall enough to ride the ride. Jeffrey, do you think I'm crazy? Okay. That's okay, Jeffrey. You can think that. It's okay that we have different opinions. Phil says that according to Google, she's 5'11", but he's always heard 6'3". So I immediately sent, after watching Aliens 3, I sent a message to my friend who went to see Frankenstein Dracula 31 with me, because we always talk about these kind of things. And I said, I just watched it and I liked it. And his answer was, you're ridiculous and you're wrong. Even the director doesn't like that movie. I'm looking forward to talking to him about it because I'd like to know if somebody here doesn't like Aliens 3, I'd like to know why. What it was what was it about it that bothered you? And you can't see my beer, but we're not ending at 9:30. Unless you want to leave. If everybody leaves, I'll just sit here and drink by myself in the dark. I'll turn the lights off. The other thing I'll tell you is that Phil, I don't want to know why you're searching that. I'm just going to ignore that, Phil. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. So I've never found Sigourney Weaver to be an attractive woman. She's a striking woman. She's perfect for that role, but she's not like, supermodel. Hey, look at that. Uh, and I thought to myself as I'm watching these, she's a striking woman. I appreciate her in these roles. And then she went and shaved her head, and I thought, I didn't think it was possible, but I'm enjoying this less because of that. I'm sorry, that wasn't nice of me to say. I'm sure she's a lovely woman, and I don't mean to be, I don't mean to objectify or anything, but she's not the classical idea of. So, for example, in Prometheus, who did they have? They had Charlize Theron, and I don't know the woman who played Shaw. I don't know the actress's name, but they Sigourney Weaver would stand out amongst them. I'm just saying. But she was perfect for that role. Like in a Bigfoot kind of way. Exactly, Phil. Exactly. Ah, Peter, join me. Yes, yes, I love it. Religious symbolism. The only one that I could say had religious symbolism, Paragon Piper, would have been the last one I watched, which was Prometheus. But honestly, I didn't puzzle it out very, very carefully. Uh, Patrick's here for the long haul. Cool. Thank you, Patrick. I have not watched any of the Predator crossovers, so my plan is, and I'm not, this is very outside my comfort zone because I've always been like a 50s, 60s at the latest horror guy. So my plan is I'm going to watch all of the Alien movies, and then I'm going to go back and watch the original Predator, which I know I saw a long time ago. And I'm going to work my way through the Predators and into the crossovers. But I have not seen Predator versus Alien. Phil, I think she could kick both of our arses simultaneously. She did tower, yes. Paragon Piper, that it was really kind of shocking to me. Again, I saw this a long time ago, the first two, I guess, because I don't really remember the second one very well. But yeah, there were scenes where she was like wearing these like bikini underwear and like having plumber's butt. And I thought, wow, that's kind of odd. Ah, okay, Patrick's having a natty daddy and he's smoking Captain Earl's private stock in his Peterson Dracula. I'm gonna have to look into that Captain Zero. You mentioned that a couple times, Patrick, and we seem to like similar things at times. So I've never had any of the Captain Earl blends. Okay, AKG Piperman, that's a good point. So he says three feels like the writers couldn't come up with something outside of Ripley. Why not take the Weyland Company and their experiments, Weyland Yutani at that point, and their experiments with the alien? So I guess my answer to that would be that if you accept that that is a coherent universe, which you probably should, they did not have the alien at that time, right? Because in two, they would have been wiped out. And the only way that they could have possibly found one would have been that it hijacked onto um, her ship. The question is, why didn't they go out and find that ship? So I guess, yeah, that is a bit of a question. Oh, cool, Paragon. I will once I watch it, I'll have to connect with you and find out who that was. Snow White dwarf, self Phil. So to AKJ Piperman, I can see your point. I can see your point there. You know, Cole, I just probably would not work out if that were the case. That is terrifying. AKG Piperman spoken some warped in his Haunting by Dracula from the 80s. Cool. I've heard that Arnold is kind of short, though. You know who else is very short? Is oh my goodness, Stallone. He's a little guy. Stove Red Virginias and a lot of Kia in Captain Earl's blend that Rush fan is smoking. Patrick. Uh I like Stowed Red Virginias. I'm becoming a little more Latakia tolerant. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to smoke it every day, but did not the ship self-destruct? It did, but it ejected the section that had the pods in it for reasons I don't quite understand. I think Stallone makes Tom Cruise look short. Dustin Hoffman was a tiny man too, wasn't he? Yeah. In Aliens, we know that the ship had thousands of eggs on it. Did we know that, Paragon? I'm sorry, I'm getting confused by which one was which at this point. But also, 57 years had passed. Yeah, Ron Perlman was in. Was that? That was four, wasn't it? That was in. What was it called? Rebirth? Something like that. I had Winona Ryder in it too. I liked Winona Ryder in that movie. I don't often like Winona Ryder, but she played a good Good role in that one. Claude Rains was also short. Danny DeVito takes a quarter of the cake. There you go. Yeah, the Queen could have been found on a prison transport, but it doesn't have to happen that way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the version of the story that we get in 3. I get that you can come up with other stories, but the story in 3 is sound. And my argument, AKJ Piperman, is that if you would have gone with what you're pointing towards, you would have just recreated another version of the first 2 movies. They're in space, they're on a ship. Oh no, there's creatures. Everybody's going to die. We got to blow up the ship. One person survives. And we've seen that twice already. They needed to do something different. Four was fun. I liked the addition of the Betty crew and all that. I think that was fun. Yeah. Fun size. There you go, Carrie. Way to find a silver lining. Okay, I got to find a tamper that fits. Frank doesn't fit. I'm sorry. Frank's monster doesn't fit. That one's definitely not gonna. I love this tamper. This thing, you don't have to do anything with this except hold it over the bowl and let go, and it does all the tamping for you. That thing is heavy. You could use this as a weapon. But I need to ream out the Matches Memorial Friday 7 early because I'm not getting most tampers in it anymore. Exactly funny like how you're a clown, Richie. Exactly. But AKJ, nobody did have knowledge of the xenomorphs. That's exactly the point. And the no weapons I thought was a nice twist. I don't know. So if you think of it from the standpoint of there's not going to be a 4, okay, maybe they just wanted to bring a conclusion to the whole thing. This was the last chance, the last possible way to get one of the aliens by Weyland Yutani, and she thwarted that by throwing herself. I'm going to spoil this now. Throwing herself into the furnace, and I thought the chest burster thing at the end with her grabbing it and holding it was just beautiful. Um, I don't know. I liked the movie. I'm sorry, and it's cool that you didn't. It's great. I love having these kind of conversations. Silly Papa Bear, how you doing, Gary? Glenn, you saw Glenn Campbell at the Flagstaff Walmart looking at coffee filters. That's a story. Okay, so at least we agree on the ending, AKJ. That's cool. That's interesting, Doug. Yeah. Sugarless versus sugar-free. Sugar-free does sound better, doesn't it? That's funny, Richie. Silly Papa Bear, I don't think you're late. I think this party's going to go for a while. So the Ripley was a clone thing in four. Okay. I was annoyed when they brought Ripley back. I was really annoyed because I thought the ending to three was so good that it annoyed me that they brought her back. But the idea of her being mean and nasty, I kind of liked it. By the end of that movie, I kind of liked it. And the thing that disappointed me was that the you got the ending there with her and Winona Ryder sitting on a rock and like you got a whole world of possibilities in front of you, and then the next movie comes along and just it ignores that whole history, and we talk about worms for some reason. And worms, I don't know if we've ever talked about this on here, but I like a lot of classic horror movies. Doug's going to get mad at me because I know he's a big fan of them. I don't like bug movies. And I got to be really specific about this. I like big bug movies. So Tarantula and the giant mantis, those kind of things, those are fine. But when they're normal sized bugs, I don't like that. Um, like what was the tarantula movie that Shatner was in? That one I loved it that was Shatner, but I did not like the movie because it just gives me the creeps. And any movie with well, actually, them was giant ants, wasn't it? So maybe that wasn't so bad. But there was another one. What was the one that Barbara Hale was in with the ants? That one I didn't like. I don't like normal sized bugs in movies. And the worms in Aliens Five, was it? In Prometheus? Yeah, I could have done without those. Now those worms, Paragon Piper, I can handle. The sandworms, fantastic. Shia, I'm good with that. Did Nimoy and Shatner make a duet Christmas album, Phil? Because that I have to have. If they were individual, that'd be great too. But if they combine talents, never saw Beetlejuice, Richie. And I also never saw the newer Dunes. I've only seen the David Lynch Dune. And the reason I do not like the reason I haven't watched the newer Dunes, I shouldn't say I don't like them, is that I love David Lynch's Dune. I think that was an excellent movie, and I just don't see why you'd want to remake it. Kenny G to the bet? No, no, Piping Pastor, you're making that up. The books are incredible, Paragon. I read I think three of them a long time ago, and I really loved them. Before the Lynch movie came out. Kingdom of the Spiders, yes, Richie, yes. And Shatner was beautiful in that movie, but I just didn't like the darn spiders. Oh, Shatner's Rocket Man is oh God, Phil. Lorna Dunes are good too, Rich. No question about it. Lorna Dunes are excellent. My grandmother used to buy Lorna Dunes. Yeah, there was something about Johnny in that David Lynch movie that yeah, I get it, Paragon. Carrie's moving on to Scarecrow warped in a mirror. Shatner was in a Hound of the Baskervilles? Really, Gary? Well, I didn't know that. You know, Halloween only comes around once a year. Should I reload the pipe, or should we call this done? I'm getting close to 10 o'clock. Dogs ain't barking. That's a good point. Peter says reload. Phil, will I delay you if I have another? I'll tell you what, I'll have another and then I'll join you on Instagram. How's that sound? And I got to get the taste of this pumpkin out of the way, and I do have one of these. So I kept it. It's like an emergency, like you keep a fire extinguisher nearby. I'm gonna have to get a pipe cleaner for this. I really enjoy Phil's Instagram lives. Because you got different folk there, Phil. The other pumpkins are upstairs. I did that as like a safety feature. Because if I drank 10% beers, tomorrow would not be a pretty day. The ghouls demand it. Well, we can't very well upset the ghoul. Lorna Doones, I used to, so back when I spent the summers with my grandparents, David, um, that's when I first started drinking coffee. And my grandmother was a coffee drinker. She made percolated coffee every morning. Interestingly, my grandfather was a tea drinker, and but he was the guy that often was charged with filling the coffee pot and stuff, which is kind of interesting. So I learned to drink coffee from my grandmother at a pretty young age, and I lived with them every summer from about second grade up until the time I went to college. I spent every summer with them, and she liked her Lorna Doones with coffee, and she would dip the Lorna Doones in the coffee, and I remember that, and I did it too. And I don't think I've had a Lorna Doone in like 20 years. So. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jeffrey. 3 of those is normal, Gary? That's probably more than I could handle. If I want to walk back up the steps, I don't think I could do 3. Go till 10, says Steve. That would be like another 5 minutes, Steve. 5 minutes? Yeah, 5 minutes. So, oh, there's my lighter. The dogs have been quiet tonight, haven't they? That's because I put the Hallmark channel on before I came down. How thick is the cake on which pipe, Gary? The one I'm smoking right now or the Matches Memorial one? Host them. Haven't thought about that in years, Richie. We smoke until dawn, says Gordy. I don't know about that. Windmill cookies. Are they the thin, sort of spiced ones with almond flakes on them? Phil, I don't think we want to have the. I don't think we want to have the Hyundai story. Oh God, that was funny. I've actually done it. I've done two pumpkin beers. I think I've done my penance. I get to go to YTPC heaven now. Okay, bad dad. So those cookies, I think they're Dutch. I'm not exactly sure, but I really like those. I'm not a big fan of sweets, but my wife bought those for me one year from, I think she found them at Aldi actually. And I really liked them. And now every year I say, "You gonna get those cookies?" And yeah, one of the few cookies I enjoy. The dogs are out chasing trick-or-treaters. Could be. Oh, you want to know how thick the cake is on the matches pipe? Huh. Well, Carrie, since you asked, Haven or Heaven? I don't know, one or the other. Let me see if I can do this without destroying too much. This is my pipe reaming setup for those who might be interested. So we got the senior reamer, which is really a nice reamer, but I rarely use it. Then we got a whole set of the Castle reamers here. And then these guys here are a series of shank reamers, which are just drill bits that I put in wooden handles. This might seem silly to anybody that just maintains their own pipes, but when I was doing a lot of pipe restoration work, this thing was invaluable to me. So the senior has 4 different sizes on it. We'll go with the smallest one. That's the smallest. It doesn't fit. So there's quite a bit of cake on this. Let me clean it out. Get the ash out. Ah, the furnace came on, which is odd because I turned off the furnace. Well, I turned off the heat, which means the dogs must be running some hot water. Ah. No. Ah. Yeah, Phil, I'm interested in that. I mean, when I see eclipse jig, I think of sharpening, but I think you're talking about something else. Bad that was the same reason I never became a Boy Scout. Okay, where am I here? I'm gonna ream. Wait. This might be really dangerous. You might wonder why I'm doing this. Because I really do love Halloween. Garrett thinks the Great Pumpkin got cold upstairs. Why am I doing this, Richie? Because Carrie asked. Carrie wants to know how much cake is in my Matches Memorial pipe, and I've been needing to ream it for quite some time. And, you know, honestly, it's interesting to me because I only smoke the Matches Memorial pipe on Fridays. I usually smoke maybe 2 bowls out of it. I'll smoke it once during the live stream usually, and then afterwards I'll usually have one more bowl before I go to bed. So this thing has really built up cake quickly because this is probably the 3rd time I've reamed it. And it seems to me, I don't know if any of you guys are Haunted Bookshop smokers that can confirm this or not, but it seems to me like Haunted Bookshop builds cake very quickly. So let's go ahead and ream it. So I give you a little reaming class here. If you haven't used these castle reamers before, they have a direction to them. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. There's actually a slant to the way these things go. So you can't just go in and go back and forth. You have to actually turn it clockwise, and that will give you the best reaming. So we'll go in there. And if you're doing it right, so David's telling me to be careful because I had 2 pumpkin beers. It'll be fine. If you're doing it right, you'll get to the bottom and it'll stop reaming. So if you get to the bottom and you're having to really push down on it, you're probably over reaming. That's the first one done. And let me see if I can find something here. There we go. Never throw these away. See, by staying late, you're getting really valuable information. These tops to the Cornell and Deal tins and others that might use the same kind of, they're really useful. I mean, for something like this, but also if you put epoxy on these and you let it cure, you can just peel it off. So these are great epoxy mixers. Anyway, let's see how much cake came out of this. It doesn't look like that much, but you saw that this thing, I couldn't get the reamer into it at first. So that's round 1. And we'll wipe that off. That's why I got the paper towel. Why do I wipe it off? Because if I don't wipe it off, it gets ground cake all over that little wooden thing that I made. Plus it gets all over my hands. Hook up to the next size. It's in my mouth. If you're careful with these, it should be almost automatic. You shouldn't have to worry too much about it. And again, we're down to the bottom. There's no pressure. Whiten it off again. We're going to go on top of this one. Again, not that much. Now at this point, the whole thing has sort of sealed up. That feels about right to me. I think we've got a nice nice opening with that. Which one was it? That's the small one. So that's probably about the right width for that ball. But we'll go one more. We may not go all the way down with this one, but we'll see if it wants to go in. So this is the next size up. No, that's too tight. Too tight. It's coming, Phil. It's coming. Okay, so we're done with the castle reamers. Now, for some pipes, if they have a conical bottom, I really like the senior reamer because this will open up and you can get that conical shape in there. But no matter what you do, you're never going to get perfect. To get perfect, you have to kind of finesse it. And to finesse it, uh-oh, Phil. It's in here somewhere. There we go. To finesse it, you need the Phil Rivera reamer. And this is, Phil did a beautiful job on this. I love this reamer. And Savinelli used to make one. I think there was another company that used to make one. But this is perfect. And I like it for a couple of reasons. One is I can sharpen it if I need to. Just run that on a sharpening stone, and that's fine. This is rounded, so you're not going to dig into the bottom, which is really important. And this is really for finessing. So what would have been great is if I maybe once a month took this out and used it, but I'm lazy, so I didn't. So now that I've done the heavy duty reaming, I can just take this, and what I do is I place it in there and just very carefully rotate around. This is just trimming. This isn't for heavy duty reaming. It's just for final finishing. And honestly, I don't know how anyone can smoke pipes for more than 5 years without having one of these. Dump that out, and then finally, you got to go through with the pipe cleaner because you've actually almost certainly occluded the airway. And on these Savinellis, because of the filter, it's sometimes hard to get through, but I'm through. If that got through, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. You're not going to be able to see that, but pipe cleaner got all the way through. So that's how you ream the pipe. Carrie, I don't know if that answered your question, but it's what you got. Cake batter. I don't know about that Paragon pepper. I could try, I suppose. Couldn't find the pipe because it was in my mouth. Yes, that was the 10% talking. You probably could use the cake residue, but I don't know, David. I think if I was going to do that, save your dust and sell it to others as carbonized. Yes. If you were going to do that, I think you'd want to put it in a mortar and pestle and really grind it down to a fine powder. Brebbia was the other company, Phil. Yes, but it did. Yeah, you're right. It did have a pointed tip. How do you fix a squeaky reamer? I don't know. I mean, that's just how they work with me. Yeah, that's the key to using this reamer. And Phil's pointing it out. This is super sharp. I mean, I could cut myself with this. I won't because I'm not that dedicated, but it's really super sharp on each of those edges. So the goal is really to have it lay flat on the surface and then guide it around that curve. So just the very leading edge of that is cutting anything. And if you do that, because the bottom is rounded, you can get it right down into the bottom. You can really finesse that curve, even on a conical bottom pipe. Honestly, if you told me I couldn't have of the three reamers I've shown you, the Senior, the Castle, and this guy, if you told me I had to pick one, I would pick this one, and then I would ream much more religiously than I currently do. Because no offense, Phil, but this is difficult to use if you got a lot of cake to take off. But if you can either maintain your pipes really carefully, or if you've got a Castle reamer or a Senior reamer to take off the bulk of it, this works beautifully. And the difference between the Castle and the Senior is if it was a conical bowl, I'd use the Senior. But for bowls like the 7LE, the Friday 7LE, the Castle works great. You oil it, yeah. Yeah, I got, Phil's a buddy, and obviously I'm a fan, but I got to say that if I lost that reamer tonight, I would buy another one tomorrow from Phil. It's indispensable in my opinion. So here's a quick quiz for you. What tastes better than Yingling? And the answer, before anyone answers, is Yingling after two pumpkin ales. They weren't even ales, were they? Yeah, they were ales. Yeah, pumpkin barrel ale. Ah, glad that's done. 2 years, Phil? Really? Yeah, I mean, that's nice of you to say, Phil. There's a lot of ways to do it. I mean, for years I used, and I think I showed this in a video ages ago. I made a knife out of an old hacksaw blade that I mounted in a wooden handle, and that's what I would use to do the final reaming on pipes because I could get in there and just be really careful with it. And if the bottom needed a little bit more than the top edge, I could do that and keep that consistent cake. You can do it with sandpaper. There's lots of things you can do, but Phil's tool just there's a reason why Savinelli made these. There's a reason why Brebbia made them, and I guess the reason why they stopped making them is that a lot of people just didn't realize how important that kind of maintenance is to your pipes. And I'm not a guy who, so I smoke a pipe 6, 8 times a day, and then I put it down, and then I get another pipe. And then at the end of the week on Saturday morning, I usually clean them all. So I'm not a guy who's like ultra careful with his pipe. But when it comes to reaming, I think that's probably the thing that you have to pay the most attention to. Because if you ream it poorly, that's going to lead to burnouts. Or it's going to lead to like a very unbalanced cake and ultimately to trouble. All right, Ron Hardcrackers has joined the Pumpkin Brigade. He's drinking a pumpkin hard cider. Thank you, Ron. I feel less alone now. So what's our record here? We're at 10:17. If we ever gone to 10:30, 10:30 would be 2.5 hours. That's a lot of live streaming. Did I say I smoke a pipe 16 times a day? I probably don't smoke a pipe. I think I said 6 or 7 times a day, maybe. I don't know. I probably, like on a Saturday or Sunday, I probably smoke about 8 bowls in a day. Less on a weekday because I'm in work, but if I'm working from home, probably more. Um, yeah, I'm not a good guy when it comes to limiting my tobacco intake. Nothing goes better than after anything than haunted bookshop carry. Yeah, Paragon Piper. So Meerschaum definitely has its benefits in that way. And that's exactly why I don't smoke Meerschaums. It's just the difference of opinion. I like Briar. I like that you have to maintain it. I like that it changes over time. Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Patrick. Patrick, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with your name. You're normally up there as Patrick Grant, and seeing Rush Fan is just throwing me off. 5 bowls and a couple of, well, each cigar is probably 3 or 4 bowls, Richie, so. I can imagine pumpkin cider might be a bit better than pumpkin beer, Ron. I think I can understand. Yeah. Because you expect ciders to be sweet and all that, which is why I don't normally drink them. Not that they're bad, I just don't like ciders. Patrick is blaming YouTube. You know, there are a few things in life these days that I don't blame YouTube for. Did I go through my full collection of Halloween tampers? Because I wanted to do that, and I don't know if I gave them all adequate airing here. We, of course, have Igor, which now I might have to rename Fritz. I don't know. No, maybe Igor was with Bela. I don't know. But anyway, Igor is my favorite Halloween tamper. He sleeps with Bela all year. And by the way, this is the last time you'll see Bela. Bela's going to go back in his coffin tonight until next year. I shouldn't say last time, but so this is number one. And then I got a whole series of Larry Blackett tampers. I love Larry. He's a wonderful human being, and he makes some really nice tampers. And I believe these are, well, they're not actually, that's not true. Let's see if I can rearrange them here. These are going to be roughly in the order in which I obtained them. So the first one was this Flying Witch tamper, which, it's cool. It's Halloween. Can't not have a flying witch tamper. And then, Larry, I don't know if Larry knows, Eric knows, Larry probably knows too. I'm a huge, Karloff Frankenstein, that's my favorite in terms of the Universal movies. I really love Boris Karloff and what he did with the Frankenstein monster. And so when this one came out, I absolutely had to have it. And by the way, Bela's getting center stage here, but you can hopefully see Frank's monster over there. And then this one is just so cool. So he did the Frankenstein monster, but he actually did it on a bolt. I hope you can see that. That is actually a bolt and nut. And it's just so cool because, of course, Monster had the bolts in his neck. And it's a very good likeness of Karloff's monster. And what I love about Karloff's monster is the expressiveness that he put into it. You actually get the feeling. Let me go through the rest of these, and then we'll talk about Karloff's monster. I already showed this one, which is technically not a Halloween tamper, but I like to think of it as the Thing from the Addams Family. And then finally, this one, it's cool. It's hard to see on the video, but this is a skull being held by a skeletal hand. It's almost like a skeleton took its head off and it's holding it up to you. And that's much more dainty tamper, but very nice. The detail on it is amazing. So those are my Halloween tampers. I was about to say about Karloff, the reason I like Karloff so much and the reason I like the Frankenstein movies so much is that he was able to put an emotion in, despite all the makeup, despite being buried in makeup and costume and everything. Imagine what it would be like to be the brain that went into the Frankenstein monster. You know, you're a criminal. In some cases it was criminal. In some cases it was just an abnormal brain. In some cases it was a damaged brain. It doesn't matter. You're a person and you die. And the next thing you know, you're in this body that doesn't work right, that you can't quite control, you can't talk, you have no idea how you got there. And there's this guy you've never seen before, and he's shining a light in your eyes or whatever. Imagine the fear, the terror that you would experience, and then the questioning, like, why is this happening? Why is this? And Karloff's ability to do that with his hand, just this why thing that he would. It was almost like he was saying, why are you doing this to me? And I just found that to be so emotionally impactful in those movies, especially Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, it was in the original, but the Bride of Frankenstein, I thought, really brought out Karloff's ability to bring that creature to life and say nothing. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I really like that movie, and I really like Karloff as an actor. Yeah, you don't want to be the guy who brain gets found by Marty Feldman. We all try to deny demise, Phil. As I was watching Young Frankenstein the other night, because it was on Svengoolie, which was really cool. He's never done that before, to my knowledge. Um, as I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, everybody in this movie is dead but Mel Brooks. And Mel Brooks only has his voice in that movie because Gene Wilder wouldn't let him appear in it. He thought it would break the fantasy, I guess. The illusion. There we go. But it might be the only Mel Brooks film that Mel Brooks does not physically appear in, but his voice is in it several times. But it's just wild that he's the only one left. High Anxiety was wonderful. Yeah. And did anyone notice, as I was watching that movie, one thing jumped out at me. Well, many things did, but Terry Garr. I don't think Terry Garr ever aged. I don't remember ever seeing her not looking exactly like she looked in that movie. He is making a sequel to Spaceballs, Patrick. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Get it, Phil. I get it. He made some nice Dracula tampers, Peter. Yes. Yeah, he was all over Blazing Saddles, Richie. And my favorite Mel Brooks movie is The Producers. I think that that was just an incredible movie. He's quite evident in that one as well. Oh, he's reprising his role, Patrick. That'll be cool. How old is he now? He's got to be in his 90s. I hear Isabel walking. We're probably going to get some barking soon, which is fine. I really should draw this to a close and hopefully let Phil get on to doing something fun. Besides, after two 10% and half of a whatever Yingling is, have you noticed they hide the ABV on beers now? Well, it's not that I'm having trouble thinking straight, it's that my bladder is about to give up. He's 99. Wow. I remember that, Bad Dad. Yes. Yeah, Terry Garr was one of those guests on David Letterman at that time that would just do wacky stuff. I don't know if Pryor wrote Blazing Saddles, Ron. I don't know. That's true. Since Mel was the 2,000-year-old man, I guess 99 isn't that big of a deal. But, folks, it is 10:30. And before Isabel barks and before my bladder gives out, I should call this to a close. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. I love Halloween. I think Halloween is the gateway to the holidays. I've always felt that way, and being able to share it with you is special. So I appreciate it. So, with that, my friends, I'm going to call this to a close. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and looking forward to a great week ahead. I'll be back on Sunday with something or the other, and of course, we'll be back here next Friday. So something to look forward to. So with that, my friends, I'm not going to finish this because I still have a lot to go, but I will take a last swig and wish you all the best for Halloween. So take care, and we will talk again very soon. Take care, everybody.